You're here because you know for a fact your GoHighLevel funnel meta-pixel tracking is broken. And you know you need Conversion API, but maybe you've tried setting it up before and it didn't really work, you were getting duplicate events, or it sounded too technical, you searched some tutorials, every one of them is talking about something different that you just disregarded it. And I completely get it. But the thing is, going into 2026, still trying to scale meta ads without having the proper CAPI setup, the proper server-side tracking, it's not optional. Every day that you don't have it, you're actively losing money that you shouldn't be losing. I'm Elias. I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on meta ads this year alone on singular ad accounts, and I spent months building a server-side tracking setup or system specifically for GoHighLevel call funnel. And once I got it working, my ads, my pixel conditioning went from literally being blind to what was happening to actually being able to scale my campaigns profitably again. And in this video, I'm showing you the exact system and showing you how to set it up step by step for yourself. I'm talking SOPs, the GHL snapshot, the N8N workflows, the scripts, all of it. And no, you do not need GTMs, Tape, ROAS, any of the softwares. Everything will be linked in the description, no opt-in required at all. Before we dive in, here's a quick roadmap so we know where we're heading with the video. First, I'll show you how the system actually works, the thinking behind the way it's built, so you know how it actually works and you're not just copying. Then we'll build it together step by step, and at the end we'll just test everything end to end to make sure everything is firing properly. By the way, everything is timestamped, so if you want to jump to a specific part, you can. So let's get into it. Alright, what CAPI does, why it exists, a mini crash course for marketers living under a rock. The classic way to track leads, bookings, etc. that most of you are using right now is we have the little code snippets of the pixel, Meta's pixel, inside this different steps of the funnel to tell Meta, hey, this became a page view, hey, this is, I don't know, a lead, a schedule, and it used to work. And it still works to an extent. But the problem is about 4 years ago, Apple made an update where users had to opt in and allow to being tracked, and every other company followed, every other browser followed. So if someone downloads Instagram right now, like downloads it again on their device, first thing they'll have is they will ask them if they want to be tracked or not. And if they click no, whenever someone clicks on your ad, clicks to go to your funnel, your pixel has no idea what happens after someone clicked. The algorithm has no idea what to optimize for. Even if they became a customer, they were the best one, they spent all the money, they were the easiest close out of your life. The algorithm has no idea what to optimize for, so you're literally running your ads in the blind. And at the end of it, you're losing money, like a lot of it. Now, luckily, Meta gave us a way to keep tracking user behavior, and that's Conversion API, which is why you're here. So basically, your funnels, forms, calendars, they all run on your own software infrastructure or the softwares you're buying, like GHL, Zapier, and A10, all of those softwares where you're hosting your funnels, forms. So when someone takes any action, let's say on a GHL funnel or on a GHL form, like again, viewing a page, filling out a form, you basically get that data on your backend slash the software's backend every single time, like every single time, because that action is hosted within your servers. And what Conversion API is basically is we take that data that we're receiving on our own infrastructure, on our own backend, and we fire it to Meta's Conversion API through our own servers, our own software. What does our own servers mean exactly? You know, basically, when you're building an automation in an A10 or a workflow in GoHighLevel, that's running on a server. Literally, a computer on the cloud doing the work for you by reading lines of code. So our own servers technically means, like, for example, when someone submits a form, I don't know, like your GHL server sends the data straight to Meta server via webhook. That's the meaning. Like the literal meaning or running something on your own servers, literally just a computer in the cloud. Now the question is, like, how is this different to browser side tracking or pixel tracking? Basically, for the pixel, it's like the user is trying to deliver the message through the user's browser. With CAPI, with Conversion API, we deliver the message ourselves. You deliver it. So basically, with Pixel, we're hoping the data gets to Meta because we're relying on the user. With CAPI, it does because we're the ones doing it. So we know for a fact it will reach Meta every single time, and that's how you have a 10 out of 10 event match quality. Now, an important note is CAPI is not an alternative. It actually lets you send way more relevant conversion data than the pixel ever could. So you're giving Meta way more context. So does this mean we don't need the pixel anymore? No, we basically layer CAPI and pixel together. They work at the same time because CAPI will guarantee your conversion data will get through, especially when someone submits a lead, when someone becomes a schedule, you can even do shows later, all that. But the pixel, by layering it, it will add like extra behavioral signals because the pixel can track stuff that the conversion API can. Like for example, how someone is scrolling on a funnel page, what kind of buttons they click, all that. So we just use them at the same time. Why isn't everybody doing this? Like why don't they have this set up, or if they do, it's not working? It's because most pixel CAPI sets up, they don't work, they fail. Why? It's one of the following three reasons. First one is event duplication and inaccurate attribution. What does that mean? So we said we're going to layer browser and server. We're going to layer pixel and CAPI. Let's say someone hopped on a funnel and submitted a form. So now they technically became a lead. The browser will say, I got one. And the server will say, I got one. So Meta will say, nice, two events. So TLDR, you are fucked because Meta is getting two events. Now, is there a way to deduplicate? Yes, which is the entire point of this video. But the classic ways of doing it is so inconsistent that the amount of people that are having duplicate events is crazy by having a layered setup like this. The second reason why most CAPI setups fail is because they have weak signal data. What does that mean? Most people use, I don't know, GHL workflows, for example, to send CAPI data. And the average CAPI user may send like an event name or an email. But if you know what you're doing, if you're a data plug Chad, these are the amount of data points you can actually be sending. Like you can send the event name, obviously, the email, the phone, the zip code, the IP address, an external ID. Basically, a huge amount of data that the meta algorithm will be thanking you for, and then it will use that to actually optimize for people that actually convert. Third problem is invisible conversion events. Most of the actions that user take, some like they don't take them themselves. Like they don't happen on the funnel. So like you have setter bookings, you have shows, you have qualified shows, you have closed deals. Like Meta has no way of knowing what's happening with these events. So those are the three problems with CAPI, most setups, like the traditional ones. So like how do we make it actually work properly? And by the way, this gets techy, which is why nobody does it. First thing is we basically build a two-layer event architecture that I call the TLDC CAPI protocol. And it's basically our proven process, our proven system for structuring and sending the CAPI data back to Meta so it treats it properly. And the two layers are, first of all, user triggered events. Second of all, backend triggered events. What does that mean? For the user triggered events, this basically starts when someone clicks on your ad and lands on your funnel. This is when this layer starts. And it has three major steps: a collection stage, which is how we're tracking the data, a data schema stage, which is what data we're actually trying to track, and then a delivery stage. How are we actually sending the data to Meta? For the collection stage, by the way, a quick note on the existing setups that truly suck at this. If you're using GTMs, Zapier, GoHighLevel workflows, etc., they work for CAPI. You're somewhat collecting data, but they're limited. And the reason why, first of all, ad blockers kill them almost instantly. Like GTM, tag managers, trust me, they're on every block list. Second of all, you're stuck with the software that you're using data structure, so you can't really customize it at all. You can't block bot traffic. This is a big one that no one actually knows. The amount of bot traffic that comes through Meta that these normal solutions are still sending as if they were real humans, and that kills your pixel conditioning. Your sites load slower from all the extra scripts because they're external scripts, they're not installed directly in the code base of your funnel. And Meta's auto-generated event IDs, which usually they try to use to deduplicate the event from coming from the pixel and the server, they break constantly, and you can't actually fix them. So you can't really control the duplication, and you're stuck with the basic logic. And that's the reason why I use custom inline scripts that I actually built myself to actually collect the data. What's an inline script? If you're wondering, let me show you a quick live example. Okay, so this is an example of a inline script. It's similar to the kind of scripts that we have for Pixel. It's basically this line of JavaScript code that we put either in the header of the or the footer. So this is just a quick live example of what an inline script is. And basically, the reason we use why we use the inline scripts, it's because they let us bypass ad blockers consistently because it's custom code. They give us full control of what data we're trying to capture, how it's structured. It actually has faster page loads because it's embedded directly in the funnel. And we can force generate our own event IDs and sync them between Pixel and CAPI. So there's a way lower chance, like almost never happens, that the deduplication doesn't happen. And for every person that just visits our page, they don't even become a lead, we can assign a custom ID to them that stays with them across browsers and devices. So even if they clear cookies, so they come back at another time or whatever, we still know it's the same person. Even if we never got their email, phone number, like they just have to click on our funnel. And this is actually how we dedupe for layer 2, which is very critical. We'll talk about it next. And a quick note on privacy and consent. I've been running this setup for US based ads with absolutely zero issues, never had any ad accounts stop working. So for EU GDPR people, I'm not for sure. So do your own research, consult legal or whatever before implementing this. So that was a quick note. Next is the data schemas part of the user triggered events. Basically, inline scripts are our vehicle for collecting the data, but we have to tell it exactly what data to collect. And the data we're trying to collect, it's basically three categories, three type of questions we're trying to answer. Who the person is, where they came from, and what they're actually doing. And the types of data we capture to fill out these categories need to basically cover this. We need their identity, their custom visitor ID I told you we're going to assign to them, the hashed contact info, the session data, their device info, basically the browser, the IP address, the device type, the traffic sources, so basically the UTMs, the Facebook cookies, the campaign parameters, the behavior, what pages they viewed, what funnel stage they're at, the form submissions, obviously, the name, email, phone, custom fields. So these are the five types of data we're trying to collect to answer those three questions. Next is the delivery stage. What do we do with this data? So once we collect it, we actually need to send it to Meta. Here's how it works. So we have the inline script on the funnel, it gets the data. We send it through a webhook to NA10 to fix the data, package it, get bots out, all of that. And then NA10 sends the event to Meta. And we also update the contact with certain data parts like IP address, user agents, all of that, because we're going to use it in the second layer of the solution. So just to dig a deep more, what does fixed package data mean? Meta's API basically needs the data to be in a specific format. We need to fix the inconsistencies, like the email formats, the phone numbers, missing fields, and basically put it all in this little nice package that Meta actually understands and the way they want stuff structured. So we just make sure we actually fix the data, package it properly before redirecting it towards the API. And why do we use NA10, not Zapier, not whatever is out there, not Make.com? I just like NA10 because it basically gives us what the other tools can't, which is we have full control over the data. We have custom logic where we can, as I've said, filter for bots, retries, formatting, all that. It's very reliable and it's very easily debuggable. So you can look at the logs so you know where something failed. And most importantly for NA10, it's way cheaper, especially if you're hosting it locally. Like the cost to run this on Zapier in comparison to even NA10 Cloud, not even the self-hosted NA10, it's a crazy discrepancy. So that's for the user triggered events. Now we'll be moving to layer 2, which is the backend triggered events. Remember this when I said Meta cannot see what's happening with setter bookings, shows, qualified shows, closed deals, revenue, etc. Like everything that's happening outside of the funnel. Now we're going to make it all visible to Meta. This basically means we can get the algorithm to optimize for further down the funnel instead of like just leads. So we can optimize for qualified shows, like have literally the ad set to optimize for the event qualified shows. We can have it for closed deals. But look, this sounds awesome, but there's a small caveat. There's no point actually optimizing for custom conversion events until like you're hitting 25, 50 conversions per week on that specific event. So unless you're closing 25 clients a week, don't optimize for closes slash purchase. So Meta needs, needs volume to learn. So stick to optimizing for leads. Then when you have enough of those booked calls, then qualified shows and so on. And that's why layer 1 gives us 80% of the results, and layer 2 is more for squeezing that little tiny part that's left. So for layer 2, it has two major steps. First of all, data triggers, when to send and what data to send, how we're triggering it. And then a delivery stage, which is how we send the data back to Meta, very similar to layer 1. So for the data triggers step, this is basically how we're going to trigger the actual data. And the events we trigger here in layer 2, they really depend on your CRM slash backend setup. So like I can't actually give you a one size fits all solution. What I'll give you in the video description and the latter part where we're gonna build this live is the architecture, basically the GHL workflows for each event, like setter booked calls, shows, qualified shows, close, but they won't have any triggers set up. You'll have to set up the triggers from wherever you trigger that action. So if you have a Google Sheet where you mark people as showed or you mark them as closed or whatever, use that to trigger the GHL workflows that will trigger the NA10. So that's why we have it this way. So you can log your data however you structure it. So, for example, as I've said, like if you have a workflow that basically fires when a setter books a call, use that trigger to trigger the setter booked call CAPI event. If you mark someone as showed in your CRM, use that trigger for the show event. If you have a closed deal tag or like pipeline stage, whatever you have, use that to trigger the close event, basically the workflow that I will show you how to set up. And basically that's it. Like I'm giving you the structure and you just plug in your data sources so it actually triggers. And for each backend custom conversion, the GHL workflows, as I've mentioned, will webhook to NA10, three types of data, and some of them which we saved from layer 1 if you remember earlier. The first one is the user identity data, obviously the hash name, the phone, the email, the external ID. Then the attribution identifiers, the last click IDs we have, the origin IP, the user agent, all of that stuff that we captured when they opted in from layer 1. And then the event context, obviously like the triggered event, the timestamps, the values, any life cycle details, all that. Then for the second step and the last step of the backend triggered events, which is the delivery stage, how are we actually going to send the data back to Meta? And it's almost identical to layer 1. We have the script, sends fix and package, and then Meta receives the event. And we're done for this little crash course. We covered the user triggered events, the backend triggered events, and now this is how you have a proper tracking, server-side tracking infrastructure. So now that you understand the what, let's actually get into the how by building it step by step. All right, so let's get to actually building this live. What we'll do is we'll wire everything up so it works, and then we'll test it live, and I'll explain what's happening at every single step, so you know what's actually happening behind the scenes. So open this resources doc that I have, first link in the description. First thing that you're gonna do is you're gonna click on this drive link for the NA10 workflows, and you're gonna download it really quickly. I already have it downloaded, so I'm not gonna do it again, but you do it. Then close this. Then you're gonna go to the to NA10 website if you don't, and create an account. The Cloud you can get a free one up to 1,000 executions a month, I believe. and then you can pay or host on your stuff if you want it for free. So once you create your account, or if you already have it, just click create workflow over here. Click on these three little icons, top right corner, and click import from file, and just select the file you just downloaded and click open. Now it's gonna pop up like this. Just leave this as is. Now, what you will do is you will upload this GHL snapshot. It will have the different custom fields I added and the workflows we need for the backend afterwards saved in here. So just upload that to whatever sub account you want to use. I'm not going to show you how to upload a snapshot to GHL. Just figure it out yourself. So do that. Then what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to our pixel. Here I have this test CAPI, or create a pixel if you want. So go into settings, copy the dataset ID, open this script sheet I have in the resources, just open it over here, come back here, and now we're gonna start filling this up for the input field stuff. So for pixel ID, leave it here. For the secret token, this is literally a keyboard mash, so mash your keyboard with numbers and letters. And I'll explain why we're doing this afterwards, but just mash your keyboard for now. Then we're gonna go back to Events Manager, Dataset ID, copy it from here. We're gonna go to CAPI Access Token. No, not Dataset ID. Sorry. We're gonna go scroll down and grab this. It's gonna say Generate Access Token over here. Just click on that and copy the code it generates. Paste it here. Then we're going to go to test events, confirm your servers are set up correctly, and copy this one here and paste it over here. Okay, perfect. Now, what we're going to do is we're actually going to copy all of the webhook links here in the user generated CAPI events. So just click on each one, click production URL, make sure you're on production URL, click copy here, go back, page view webhook, here, copy it, boom, done. Then for webhook lead, again, production URL, copy it, paste here, done. And now we're gonna grab the schedule webhook, go to production URL, just grab this, paste it over here. Then what I want you to do is to grab your 3-step funnel link. So I'm gonna just go over here. You can use my template called funnel. It's gonna be in the snapshot with the GHL. So just go to sites and I'm gonna copy my opt-in page, paste it over here. Same thing for my booking page and paste it over here. Nope, just double click, paste. Nope, here, paste here. And same thing for my thank you / pre-call page. I'm gonna copy the link and paste it here. Now, what we're going to actually do. Wait, why is this not firing? No, it's firing properly. All good. What we're actually going to do is we're gonna go to GHL again, go to the automations. You'll have a bunch over here. Okay. We're going to have a bunch of them over here coming from the snapshots. Now we're going to update these events one, that have CAPI, CAPI, CAPI. So let's click on the first one from show up. Okay. What is this? This is just, we're going to wire to what webhook it's sending it to. So go back to your NA10, go find show up, for example, production URL, copy it, and I'm gonna paste it over here. All of the custom data should be filled with the snapshot, and I'm gonna save. Then, wait, setter booked. So I'm gonna go to NA10, look for setter booked here or setter scheduled, production URL again. Click over there and go back to data here and paste it over here in the webhook and save. Now we have a qualified show. Boom. Production URL. Copy it. And a lot of pasting with this setup. We're gonna go to qualified show, click on the event over here, and boom, paste it here, and then click save. And the last one, which is the purchase event. Yeah, I'm gonna go over here, go back to NA10, closed production URL, copy it, boom, done. Purchase closed, paste it over here. Now save. Okay. So we have these webhooks connected. Now we're gonna start pasting stuff into N8N. So click here, generate scripts. You have your scripts generated here. First thing we're gonna do is copy the secret token you made. Here, double click on it so you don't get the quotation marks. And you see this check secrets, check secret, check secrets on the user generated events. We're just gonna over here is equal to and paste yours. Boom. Paste again. Boom. And paste here again. Okay. That works. Now, what we will do is we will copy our access token. And you see this package payload. There's 7 of them in each part in the user generated events and the CAPI, the backend CAPI events. So we're gonna go package payload and we're gonna replace our access token here and also the test code. So I'm gonna grab it here and here's the test. Just put it over here, paste it, and we're gonna do it for every single package step. So boom, grab the access token again here, paste it again, schedule event, test, oops, package payloads, not schedule. Here, boom, grab the access token, paste it there. Now for the backend generated, all the other packages, I already have this copied, so boom. And now the test codes, a lot of copy pasting. Paste there. Again. Here. Same thing. And same thing here. Copy the test codes. Yep, all good. Let me just make sure this one was correct. Yep. And then for the last one, I'm going to paste it there and the CAPI access token. So make sure that all of these 7 package payloads have the same ones we pulled from Meta. Yep, it's all done here, all done. Okay, perfect. So I just updated all of them. Now, what we're going to do is you see this NA10 meta post webhook URL. Now you're going to copy that. And for each meta whatever event, these browser icons, we're going to click on them, paste them into the URL. Click on them, paste in the URL. Click on them, paste in the URL. Click on them, paste in the URL. Click here. Click done. Click done. Okay. Now, the last thing we need to actually set up from this side. Remember when I said in layer 1, there's some data points we save to GHL through webhook for the layer 2. Go into your automations. You'll find this update contact data with a snapshot again. And now just click on trigger inbound webhook and just copy the webhook here. Just copy its link. Go back to NA10, click on GHL data update, this step, and just paste the URL there. And now we're done with the NA10 side of things. So click save, top right corner, and click hit active. Okay, now got it. Okay, that's firing. Okay. Now we need to set up a few things on the funnel itself. So we're gonna go back over here. First thing is we're gonna do the form. We're gonna add a few fields to our opt-in form. The first form they see when they try to opt in on the page view. We're gonna add a few fields that I added here again in the snapshot. So click additional info. First one is external ID. Second one is FB CLID. After it is UTM ad set, and then UTM campaign ID, and then UTM ad set ID, and then UTM ad ID, and hit save on those. Then you're gonna go into the settings of the same form, gonna go back to our resources sheet, and you're gonna copy this opt-in page to booking page link URL. URL basically because it has specific UTMs we need. You're gonna copy it, and you're gonna go here and paste. Just make sure to force copy it so it doesn't have the quotation marks. So let me just make sure it's the right one. Let me delete this little space. Boom. And I'm gonna save. Okay. And then we need to fix the redirect on the calendar too, so it redirects properly. For the calendar, you need to go to calendars, calendar settings. Let's wait for it to load. My test calendar here, settings, form and payments. You're gonna find this redirect URL. Just go back here and copy the booking page to thank you page UTMs and paste over here. And it's done. And click save. All right, so that's it. Now we're gonna add the juicy part of it. You're gonna go to your sites, your funnel. In here, go back to the resources sheet. You're gonna copy the first tracking code, which is funnel settings tracking code. Click on it. Control A, Control C, double click and Control A, Control C so you don't get a formatting error. Go to settings, head tracking code here, paste it, click save. All right. Then we're gonna go to the first page, which is the opt-in, click edit. Tracking code. And we're gonna go funnel opt-in page, page view event, click on it, copy. I like to put it in the footer, it just makes load times better. Save, publish. I'm gonna go back, grab the booking page now, script, double click, Control A, Control C, or Command A, Command C. I'm gonna go to the second page, this is the booking page. Again, tracking codes, footer tracking, paste it over here, save, publish. That's all good. Now, for the last pre-call page, the thank you page, here for funnel thank you page schedule event, Control A, Control C, and then tracking codes, footer tracking, paste it over here, and now we publish it. And now everything is actually wired. So we're gonna test it live, and I'm gonna explain what's happening behind the scenes. Okay. So where we're gonna actually test it from is you go to your events manager, click on the same pixel that we were using, click on confirm your website's events are set up correctly, and then grab this add testing link because I filled it up with sample data, so it mimics real user behavior. Paste it over here, and now I'm just gonna click test events. Before we do that, we need to make sure our NA10 automations are live. They are, and that also our GHL automations are published and live. All good. So now we can just click test events here, and we're gonna click test event. Okay. Boom. Now we hopped on. It tagged us with an external ID here. As you see, it filled it and all the other info on the ads and all that. Now, what is going to actually happen? If we go to look at our executions, we're gonna see one over here, which is the page view because it's the first event. So the page view got triggered over here. From the inline script, it sent a bunch of data. I don't want to leak my IP address over here, but basically it sent a bunch of data where they came from, all that. We checked for the secret code. What is this? What does this mean? If you remember, we pasted it over here earlier. Basically, that secret code we mashed, we put it in the general codes of the funnel that we put in the settings, not on each page. And then whenever someone lands on a page view or a lead event, if they're a real user, if it's a real browser, it will grab it from the source code of the entire funnel, of the core funnel settings, and it will send it with the payload. So then we know for a fact that it's coming from a user. Whereas bots, like most bots, 95% of them, they're lazy, so they don't check the source code of the funnel. So they send the webhook through the inline script without the secret code. And that's how we catch them, basically. We just check if they have the secret code or not, because every real user will have it. Most bots will not, so it checks for secret code. Then, even sometimes, some bots will still go through because they're a bit more advanced. I built this entire algorithm for basically scoring data to see if it's bot-like behavior or human behavior, to see if we let it pass it through or not. If it does go through, if it has the right score, then we basically normalize the payloads for meta, so it's actually like as we mentioned before, the format that it actually needs, and then we package it and we send it directly to the API, and that's the steps that are mostly taken through the same process on every single one. We check for the bots, we normalize the payload, we package it, and we send straight to Meta. So if we go here, since we triggered the page view, and I go to Events Manager, if you see, events received page view from browser and from server and deduped. So it works. Now, let me opt in really quickly. And I'm going to put random stuff here. Test, right, test at test.com. And I'm going to click submit. Wait, let me put another number. All right, here we go. I'm going to click submit. Go, come on. Here we go. Should work now. All right, so now we're supposed to have become a lead. So if we go to the events manager, we got the event from the lead, okay? From the pixel, sorry, we got the lead event from the pixel. And now if we wait a bit, we're gonna get the same exact event from the server. Here we go, server. Same event ID, deduplicated. If we go back to NA10 and we look at the executions, we'll pop back here. I mean, just refresh it. Here, same exact thing. It went through, the inline script triggered it, it went through the entire process we mentioned, and boom, done. Now, if I book a call again, like, wait here, and I'll just schedule a call, same exact thing will happen. I'll get a schedule event from the pixel, and if we wait a bit, we're gonna get the same exact thing from the server. Here we go. Here's the server event from the schedule, like with all of the data, the external ID, everything that we need to know about them, basically. And it's going to get deduplicated too because they have the same event ID here because we force generated the event ID. So it's going to get deduplicated for a while. So that's the user triggered events working. All right, now to test the backend events, actually, we're going to go into contacts, choose the latest contact we just tested. Go down and I'm going to go to automation and I'm going to force add it first of all to setter booked, which is a schedule event. I'm going to force it to go through right now. And then for you, again, like as I mentioned before, just wire your own source of data. So I'm going to click add here and I'm going to go back to events manager and we're going to wait a bit and it's going to pop up here again as a schedule event. So let us wait a bit. And there we go, another one. And as you see, it's not the same one, so it has its own unique event ID. So right now, we're also logging the set to scheduled events. So again, there it is. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna keep testing the other events. So the next one is setter booked. No, is qualified show and show up. So I'm gonna do show up first of all. I'm gonna add it here, and we're gonna wait a bit. And now, since it's a custom event, it's called show up. Literally, it's not one of the defaults events. We have to allow it before it pops up in here. So we're going to go into settings and go to manage event blocking and click review, click acknowledge. And then we're going to wait a bit and it's going to pop up here. Let me just reload it. Here we go. Manage event blocking. Here I acknowledge. It just showed up here. So I'm just going to click on it. Click next and confirm this custom event. And now we're going to test the exact same one again here. So I'm going to add it to show up again and click add. And we're going to go to test events and it's going to show up promptly over here as a show up event. And then once again, as we've mentioned before, once we have enough of those events, you can start targeting for them. So let's wait a bit. And there we go. The show up event just popped up over here. So we know it works. Then we have to move to the next event, which is qualified show. We're going to add it over here. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to approve it and then test it again. So we're going to go to manage event blocking. I acknowledge, and we're going to wait a bit for it to pop up over here. Right, there we go. It just popped up over here. Qualified show. Click next, confirm the custom event and confirm it. And now we're just going to quickly add it to the workflow again. So we test it. Qualified show, add. And go back to the test events. And it's going to pop up over here in a bit. And there we go, just popped up over here. Now the last one we're going to test is actually the closed event. Before we do this, you just need to go to the contact and have first order value at like, I don't know, like put first order value here, put a random like number. And for currency, just put in USD or whatever you want to test and hit save. Make sure you hit save here. And then click add. And then purchase or closed and click add to that. And it's going to show up directly because it's a standard purchase event. And it's going to show up over here. And there you go, a purchase event with all the data that Meta needs. And now you basically have it working right in front of you. It was live tested. Now we just we need to remove the tests and all of that. So go back to NA10. And now into each package payload step, just go and delete the test code. So here, boom, the test code is gone. Test code gone, just so we can now you start using it live. Just here, test code gone. Test code gone. Test code gone again. And test code gone again. Click save. That's on NA10 sides, everything is done. Then go back to your GHL, go into sites, go into forms, and we're just gonna hide the fields we added for testing just so we can see it earlier. So just make sure these are hidden. All of these are hidden. Okay. And here, hide it here and click save. And now basically it's live. The only last thing you need to do yourself that I can't really do for you is from now on, make sure to go into automations and wire how these 4 events are getting triggered. So when the purchase one is triggered, when they qualify, just pull it from wherever you're logging that data in. And also from now on, whenever you make an ad, just make sure you use this add to opt-in page link UTMs. Just put your opt-in page raw link over here. It will generate a link with UTMs here that you should put as a redirect from your ad. So in your ads, when you're making the creative, just have that in so it redirects people with the proper UTMs so we don't lose anything. And that was basically a complete CAPI setup. It works live as we've tested it. You will never find anything like it on YouTube. I hope you found this useful. If you have any questions, you can DM me on Instagram down below and let me know if you want more content like this. And peace.